I feel that it's a right of all of us as human beings to transform and to achieve our higher octave, or raise our vibration, or transform as much as we possibly can in this lifetime. And the rate of transformation that I see happening at San Quentin is unprecedented. I've never been around a population that so densely strives towards positive transformation and change.
26 years I was incarcerated there, total love. I was given a sentence of 15 to life prison, and the hopes at the time was that, after 10, 12 years, if I were to do well, I would come out of prison. But that didn't happen. Later we found out that it's more than just doing the 15 years.
Guilt is one thing, shame is something else, and toxic shame is a whole other animal. And for many of these men, the real tragedy of their lives is how they were raised.
I believe that's part of what took me to San Quentin in the first place, put me to prison, was the fact that I felt disenfranchised from everybody, including my family, even my kids. I had a real problem with that. I was what you'd call a loner.
I've heard a lot of real heinous details of terrible, terrible crimes, but the one that is the worst and the hardest to hear are stories of how these men were raised, often without anybody in their life that really cared about them, or if they did care, they didn't have the skills and the tools or the wherewithal to show that.
Like I said, my family didn't even know me. I didn't let anybody know me. My mother didn't even know me. She would argue that point if she was still here and say, I know my kids. No, you didn't. I had feelings you never knew I had, Ma. I never talked to you.
I used to bottle up inside me all pain, all frustrations, and then would explode. That's what got me to prison to begin with. And I'm sorry. I personally was putting myself down, saying that I have committed a heinous crime and that I should be punished. I was saying that to myself consciously as well as unconsciously. So that was inside me.
Untangling shame usually has guilt in there too. Untangling guilt usually has shame in there as well.
She showed me that I'm a good person, I just have done a bad thing. And that, even though it's a simplistic, the way I'm explaining, that made a big difference to me. I started going forward. Before, I couldn't go forward. I was just stuck there, so to speak. And spirituality didn't make sense to me.
What gives me the most excitement is working with people who have no faith, or whose faith has been completely destroyed.
I'm not a religious person, but I became more spiritual. As I said in our casual conversation, that I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it every day. I pray, and that gives me strength.
The men that I see there are part of the mainline population, and what that means is they've earned privileges to be out of their cells sometimes almost all day, to go to classes, to take programs, to participate in various things that happen throughout the community there in San Quentin. So they maybe at one point in their lives were hardened criminals, but at the point that they are right now, they're feeling the pulsation of something else inside of them, and that's what keeps me going.
That's an amazing thing, for you to go behind the walls of a prison and love people who's committed an atrocious act like rape.
Trust is something that in a prison environment is definitely not your best friend.
I was a loner, and that's what hurt my life. And the reason I was a loner, as far as what I've learned since then, is that I didn't have any spirituality. I had no guidance. I had no, I had love. I just didn't have answers to why life had to hurt so much, and it did. It hurt every day of my life. And now there's certain instances that I can reflect on that still hurt. But I don't have to carry that hurt around with me 24/7. And Susan was part of that. Susan was a big part of that. She's responsible for bringing me to be able to have this, you know, and it's just something that she showed me a way to have compassion and share with another human being.
My objective is to give back. My goal was, you know, when I came out of prison, is to have a nonprofit eyeglass shop, for instance, and have all the people that come out of prison, you know, give them a start. You know, I would train them to be a lab technician or dispensing optician and have an eyeglass shop. I wouldn't have seen that dream without Susan, I'm telling you right now. It's just, she gave me that confidence, that will to live again, basically. I was dead. Just, you know, blaming yourself day in, day out, it just, inside you, you die. I am so pleased and glad I met Susan. No, she helped me a great deal, really.